What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Talking with Beauties, episode 108, the Wednesday news. And on today's episode, we got NFL recap for the draft, we got NHL playoff recap, and we got new news coming out of the college football video game. But first, let's head into the MLB. So we're starting today's episode on the MLB, but we are back. It's been 2 weeks. Feels like it's been forever. Sorry, this is also a late episode drop. I've been traveling. I'm back here, obviously not in Arizona. I'm back in the hometown, California. So we got new backdrop. So this actually might be the normal backdrop for the next couple of weeks, mainly because it's summertime. I will not be staying in Arizona. I will be back here in California. So we got pretty much going to be the same schedule. Hopefully going to try out the same exact thing. Have more time now to do it. Obviously, I will update you guys on the episodes when on the social medias on when it will come out and things like that, like I did last week. So we are back. Finals are done. School is over. Let's get into the pod. We'll start off with the MLB injury list. Chicago Cubs, Cody Bellinger is on the IL with a fractured rib. Boston's Brian Bello is on the IL with right lateral tightness. Seattle's J.P. Crawford's on the IL with a grade 1 oblique strain. Milwaukee's Wayne Miley will undergo Tommy John surgery, out for the rest of the season. Baltimore's Grayson Rodriguez is on the 15-day IL with a right shoulder inflammation. And, unfortunately, the Los Angeles Angels' Mike Trout has a torn meniscus, will need surgery, no timeline return. They say it will most likely, it could potentially be a 3 or 4 week process, depending on what is necessary from the surgery. I personally do not expect him to be back anytime soon. So that's tough because he's pretty much looking like his MVP self. Kind of expected him to look like an MVP caliber Mike Trout, but unfortunately because of this, we're going to get maybe 60 games of Mike Trout at this right now, but who knows, maybe even less, depending on how long it takes to recover from this surgery. Because of that, the Angels did sign Kevin Pillar to a 1-year contract in replace of Mike Trout. Houston has sent down Jose Abreu to the AAA. As of right now, he's battling under 100, so it's tough news for the first baseman there. Houston's going to have to battle, as they're honestly have been one of the worst teams right now outside of the Chicago White Sox and Miami Marlins. They've been really struggling bad, and they should not be. Tuesday night, LA was visiting Arizona and became the first team in 18 years to play a whole game without having a batter strike out. Very surprising that this has not happened more often. But also, on the other side, I'm surprised it's only been 18 years because that is something that is just not very common. You don't really think about it, but LA did it the other day. And yesterday, happened to go to the game, the Wednesday game with the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Very solid game, went to extra innings. Dodgers ended up losing that one in a walk-off fashion. Christian Walker with his second home run of that game. But before that game even started, 2-hour delay, we had bees colonizing on top of the net. Took almost 2 hours to finally call an exterminator, get him to take away the bees safely and start the game up. He actually ended up throwing out the first pitch, so that was an awesome little thing there. Biggest cheers, I think, were because of the beekeeper in the end. It was way louder than for anything else in that game, so that was awesome. Really something kind of memorable to say you got to go see in person there. Also yesterday, we had a little scrum with Milwaukee and Tampa Bay. So earlier in the game, Jose Siri hit a home run off Freddie Peralta, pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. Next time that he came up, Peralta ended up hitting him on a 3-0 count. Umpires got together, ended up throwing out Peralta. No warnings were issued beforehand, so very surprising to see that one happen. Later on in the game, Abner Uribe got him to ground out as Jose was coming to first base. He said something to Jose. Jose didn't like that. Punches were thrown between the two. Suspensions came out today. So we got Freddie Peralta. He'll be suspended 5 games. Pat Murphy will be suspended 2. Uribe will get 6, and Jose Siri will get 3. As of all cases when it comes to suspensions, these players probably will appeal. I don't know who or will or will not, but most likely we'll see all of them appeal. It's just kind of a normal thing when it comes to these suspensions. They also said that fines have been handed out, but it is undisclosed amount for those players. So really weird situation there out in Milwaukee. escalated to a spot that I did not think it needed to. Mainly because of him getting thrown out. All right, we got some news earlier this week. Players Weekend will return. That will be in August 16th to the 18th. I believe that is a weekend series, most likely. Players Weekend has not been back for a couple seasons now. If you guys don't remember, it was when we had pretty much players just do whatever they want. We had new uniforms, very vibrant colors. I'll throw up a couple pictures of the uniforms that we had. We also had one that it was a black and white. One team would wear an all-white uniform, the other team wore an all-black uniform. Was not a huge fan of that, was a fan of the more vibrant colors that we had. But what will happen this Players Weekend? Supposedly no uniform changes. We will not see any of those vibrant uniforms or any of those black and white subdued uniforms. None of that. So hearing there's going to be no uniform changes, it will just look like a normal weekend. Hearing there could be an addition of potentially numbers to the hats of the players, to kind of resemble like a Little League look. If you guys ever played Little League, some teams would have numbers on their hats. I think I had a couple of them with numbers on the back, numbers on the side. So it's just it's just something that kids growing up understand. So kind of bringing that back. Players will also be allowed to customize bats, cleats, gloves, and most likely arm sleeves as well. We have seen that in the past where players wear different color arm sleeves or different designs on that, pretty much just expressing themselves with this weekend. With everything could happen, mainly because they've been so strict on what you can and cannot do. We get something like this that's going to help these players kind of express what they are and who they are. So it's going to be fun to watch for sure. So 18th or 16th through 18th of August will be that Players Weekend. And last thing to talk about, we got the Tampa Bay Rays dropping a new uniform. Out of nowhere, they dropped their City Connects. We had 0 leaks on this. The last 2 weeks, I know we weren't here last week, and there was a couple of uniform drops, but most of those uniforms we did know at least a little bit about. I mean, with the Broncos we knew about, with the Texans we knew about, with the Mets City Connects we knew about, and we could make some inferences on what other uniforms could look like or the whole uniform itself. With this one, 0. I was not hearing anything about it. I heard a lot of, I wish it would look like this. I hope it looks like this. But nothing confirmed. No pictures of the hats or anything. I'm even getting things about maybe even Detroit Tigers uniform, their new City Connect hat. That is not confirmed, obviously, but I'm also hearing things about that. So for Tampa Bay to just hold this off and find a way to present it out as a brand new uniform, something we have not seen before, hats off to Tampa Bay. Great job by them. Let's get into what the uniform looks like. It is a black jersey, black hat with a dark gray pants, with a skateboard texture throughout the jersey, and it looks really good. It looks like almost like a really dark gray because of that pattern, but I really like the look of it. That kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I know it is skateboard texture, but it's easier to look at than it is to explain. Tampa Bay is on the front of the uniform. It's the first time since 2007 that we've seen Tampa Bay across the front of the uniform. The font looks like their old Devil Rays uniform, but on the top has flames coming off of it, giving off that texture of, I guess, kind of that skaterboard look that they're going for, and also graffiti look. The uniform font is in black, or that heathered gray look, because of the texture, but it's outlined in this neon purple and green. Same with the numbers on the back. I think that looks great. I think that outline looks awesome right there. I think that's a great addition to the uniform. In the back of the uniform, we got the numbers that we just explained, but the lettering is in this neon green. Absolutely love that color. I think that looks awesome. It pops, it stands out on that uniform. Very awesome look. I think if they went with that color on the numbers, it almost would have been too much, and if they went with purple, it would have been too much there. So I think they did a great job on the balance there. I think it looks really awesome. The logo on the hat, so the hat is black with the purple bill. The logo itself is an outline of a ray, if you look at it from far away, but if you get closer, it is actually an up close of the bridge of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, and at the bottom, it's kind of like a water pattern representing the bay underneath it, which all shapes in array. I think that looks great. I think it looks really good and matches well with it. I think the purple edition also looks great. I like that in the City Connects for the Mets, so I like that purple coming in here with the Rays. Overall, did not think the Rays were going to look like this. I figured they'd go more of like a sandy color, like the the Angels or maybe more vibrant like the yellows or the light blues that they're implementing in the normal uniforms. But I like them stepping away from their normal branding. I really like this look. Overall, what do I give it out of 10? I'm giving it a 9.2. I really like these uniforms. I think these look awesome. I think the neon looks great. The logo on the pants look awesome. It's a skateboarding Tampa Bay Ray logo. That is awesome. That is great. I want that on the hat instead. I think if that's on the hat, I think that's out of the park. I think that's the only reason why I'm giving it maybe a 9.2. I'll bump it up to 9.4. I'm going to go 9.4 just because I think I'd rather see that logo that's on the pants on the hat itself and that hat logo on maybe the arm patch or something like that. I think I'd swap around where the logos are going to go. But overall, great uniform, good branding, great job keeping that out of the leakers' hands as well. So great job to Tampa Bay. That is going to be debuting on this weekend series, May 3rd through May 5th. So check that out on TV. It's going to be fun to watch those uniforms in person there. All right, let's get into the NFL now. So let's get into the draft recap. Honestly, if you guys know me, I'm not a huge fan of the draft. I don't find it very fun to watch. I understand what it means to the players, and I like that aspect and new talent coming into the league. I know a lot of the players going in because I like college football more than I like pro football. So I understand who's coming in, who's good, who's not. But overall, it's just kind of whatever to me. It's not something that's on my high priority to watch. Usually the first round is usually the only one I really pay attention to. After that, it's kind of whatever unless there's an Arizona State guy in the draft, which unfortunately there was none that were drafted this year. A couple guys did sign after the draft, so congrats to you guys. But for this first round of the draft, 23 offensive players were taken, which was a record, and no defensive player was taken until pick 15, which was also a record. There were 6 quarterbacks, 7 wide receivers, 9 offensive linemen, and 1 tight end in this draft. Crazy offensive talent. Looking at it, here's some notable picks though. Number 1 overall was Caleb Williams. Everyone expected it. If you guys know me as well, I'm a Niner fan, but I'm also a Bears fan. Shout out my dad, shout out my mom. Mom's a Niner fan, dad's a Bears fan, so I love them both. Niners over the Bears though. Sorry, Dad. But Caleb Williams going to Chicago. I'm not a huge fan of that pick whatsoever. I told the guys this, and when I mean the guys, Kettler, Bryce, Connor, all the guys you know, I've been talking with them about this draft, and personally do not like that Caleb Williams pick. I don't think he's going to pan out to be the best quarterback in this draft. I'll tell you who I do think, we're going to talk about him later, who might be the best pick in this draft. But Caleb Williams, I don't think is going to be great. I think Chicago is in a ready now situation that they want to win now. I don't know. I mean, maybe wild card spot based off of what the roster looks like right now. But Caleb Williams, you have to expect him to kind of be struggling in the beginning. It's a rookie quarterback. You can't expect too much. But a lot of people are excited about it. I'm not. I just don't think he's all that. He hasn't had that many great games in college that really has kind of shown me like, oh my God, he's the best guy ever. He's had some very good games, don't get me wrong. Some Heisman caliber games. That Heisman season was great. But this past season honestly was not. So overall, first overall pick, Williams to Chicago. They got a quarterback, but I personally would have kept Justin Fields and traded that pick. But that's just me. Second overall was Jaden Daniels to Washington. Everyone kind of expected Washington to pick up a pick. It was going to be him or the guy we're going to mention next, which I don't want to shout out yet. But for Daniels to go to Washington, kind of surprising. Kind of reminds me of RG3, but RG3 is much bigger than Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is going to get smoked and crushed in this league. So unless he puts on like 60 pounds of muscle to help himself out, he's going to get pushed around this league. So I'm very scared for him. So hopefully he's able to kind of figure that one out. But he also mentioned he wants to be one of the best running quarterbacks in the league and potential history, he also said too. Kind of surprising. Not really something you want to go announcing. You kind of want to be a quarterback first, running quarterback second. But whatever, I guess. I mean, congrats, a Heisman Trophy winner. But third overall, Drake May. This is the quarterback that I think is going to be the best in this draft. I think Drake May is actually the best talent overall. Very consistent in UNC. Unfortunately, North Carolina has not been all that good, so they haven't been able to really show off him as much as I think that they could have. But they're top 25 school most of the time. I think May's a great quarterback. Him going to New England, I think is going to be a great fit. New system over there. Not a lot of pressure. New England has not been great the last couple of years, obviously. So for him to come in, most likely as the starter week 1, I think May is going to have a great career. much better than what Mac Jones did going into New England. So I really like this Drake May pick. I think it's going to be an awesome addition to that Patriots lineup. Then we had Marvin Harrison going to Arizona, the 4th overall. Best wide receiver in this draft. Not very surprised. The only problem is Arizona's still not good offensively, so I'm going to hope that maybe they figure out the quarterback situation, whether it is Murray or whether it's somebody else. But Harrison needs to have a good quarterback to get the ball to him. So Harrison's going to be really good, but is Arizona going to be able to help him out? That's going to be the biggest question. The very controversial pick at 8th overall, Atlanta taking Michael Penix Jr., quarterback from Washington. Very surprising to a lot of people. Penix going to Atlanta doesn't make any sense, to be honest, because Atlanta just signed Kirk Cousins to a $100 million plus contract for 4 years to be their starter. So it makes no sense. Penix, I think, is already 24 years old or something like that. So by the time that contract's over, and if Penix stays around, Penix is going to be 28 and getting a start, and I don't think it's going to happen. So you're going to see probably 2 years of Kirk Cousins and then him sit the bench with a fully guaranteed contract. Makes zero sense, to be honest. I know Penix is very good. I think he'll be a very good player, but I don't know if Atlanta was the right spot for him. It just doesn't make any sense. Number 9, Chicago picked up Rome Odunze, Washington wide receiver. Love this pick. I think he was the best option after Harrison, because I knew Harrison was not going to be able to go over to Chicago. I mean, unless Chicago traded up for him or traded down, in this case, for that first overall pick down to a lower pick for somebody, then I think they could have gotten Harrison. But because Harrison went first, I think Odunze is the best option, and having him there in Chicago is right now a 3rd wide receiver. Outstanding. Super excited for that pick. I love to see Odunze in Chicago. So great job by the Bears there. And the last pick I'm going to mention, 13th overall, Brock Bowers to Las Vegas. This was the only tight end taken in that first round. Brock Bowers is the best tight end in college football. Coming out of Georgia, won 2 national championships over there. Bowers, I think, is going to be a great addition there. Darren Waller left. They had 1 whole year without really a star tight end, and I think that could be something that they need in the future. And I think Bowers could be that guy. So I really like that Brock Bowers pick for Vegas, going with him. Best tight end available, hands down, no question about that. So that was a little bit of recap for the draft. Only one other thing out of the NFL, though. Kansas City has extended Travis Kelce to 2 more years. So we got 2 more years of Travis Kelce in Chiefs Kingdom. So that's tough news for the rest of the league there. All right, let's head to the NHL. Before we get into the playoff talk, we got a couple of things to mention. San Jose Sharks have fired head coach Dave Quinn, and Seattle fired head coach Dave Hextall. Dave Quinn, not too surprised. San Jose is not very good. Seattle, though, Hextall leaving, I think that's very surprising. Not had a good year at all. Seattle did not look good, but I kind of would have given him 1 more year. But based off of how this league has been run the last couple of years, not very surprised to see him go. There's not a lot of leash on these head coaches in this league right now, so it's tough to see him go, but I think he's going to get another spot for sure. Chicago announced that they extended Alec Vlasic to 6 years, $4.6 million AAV. I think it's a good depth pick. Not too sure about Vlasic, like all in general, but it's good to see the young talent staying in Chicago. I think they're trying to keep that core as much together as possible. All right, now let's get to the playoff recap. Start off with the first series to end. The Rangers over Washington. They swept them in 4 games. Ovi was held to 0 points for the entire series. Very surprising. Honestly, I thought Washington had no chance in this one. I thought it was going to go at least 5. I thought Washington would have gotten at least 1 game. But when you watch the games, New York was definitely the better team. There was no doubt about it. And they made them pay. And they're resting and watching a couple games. So they got a 4-game sweep for the Rangers. Igor Shesterkin looks outstanding right now. So they keep that up. They're going to look great. But they have to face against Carolina as they close out their series with the Islanders 4-1. But on the opposite side, Freddie Anderson's goaltending has looked great too. Ever since he came back from injury, he's been looking outstanding. He's unstoppable. So Igor and Anderson going back and forth next series is going to be very fun to watch. Very good series. Very highlight reels expected of those for sure. Then we head to Boston and Toronto. Toronto ended up winning Game 5 yesterday, forcing that game to Game 6, but Boston leads that series 3-2. Brad Marchand also became the all-time leader in playoff goals for for the Bruins. So congrats to the rat himself, Marshy. But Boston, to me, I think is a great team. They're the better team in this one for sure. Toronto's been dealing with injuries. Nylander didn't play for the first 3 games of this series. Austin Matthews didn't play this last game. Still able to find a way to win. So congrats to Toronto. I don't know how they got it done, but I don't see it going any past that. I think I heard something saying Toronto's lost the last 6 home playoff games or something like that, and they've been outscored by like a minus 21 goal differential or something like that. Don't quote me too much on that, but I know that they're on a losing streak at home. So I don't expect them to get past Game 6. I think Jeremy Swayman and the boys get it done for Boston. Florida took care of their little stepbrothers now of Florida, Tampa Bay in 5 games, 4 games to 1. I think this is officially the passing of the torch of the best team in Florida for hockey. I think Florida Panthers have taken that over now. So for Tampa Bay, it seems like this might be the end for Steven Stamkos. He's got no contract extension so far. They got all offseason to figure that one out. So a lot of stuff to do with Tampa Bay, and I don't think it's in the right situation right now. I think they're just going to decline, unfortunately. For Florida, on the other hand, they look great. Kachuk looks good. Cousins actually looked pretty good in this series as well. Verhey's looking good. Sam Reinhart scored a couple goals as well. He's looking great. Bobrovsky put up some unreal saves in this series. Not surprised Florida gets by them. I personally like them to get them out of the West, or out of the East. I think Florida's going to move all the way to the finals again. But how tired will they be again? Because I think they got tired last year. And that's the reason why they really did not put up a great effort against Vegas. But Florida looking very good in that final Eastern matchup right there. We head to the West, where Dallas and Vegas are tied at 2 games apiece. Honestly, I think Dallas should be up 3-1. I think Dallas has looked better all series long, but Vegas has just been lucky with a couple of the goals. Ottinger has not looked all that impressive to me, and I really do like playoff Ottinger, so I hope that kind of steps up. He kind of steals a game, because the road team has won every game in this series. So that is unfortunate news for home teams, but this is actually a very fun series to watch, so I'm going to keep my eye close on this one. Then we head to Colorado and Winnipeg. Colorado closed this one out yesterday, winning the games 4-1. Hellebuck has given up the most goals, but also has gotten the most saves in his playoffs. That's not a great numbers you want to see, especially when Winnipeg defense has been one of the best defenses all season long. Consistently, when it came to goals against, and even Hellebuck being a Vezina Trophy finalist for this season, you expected them to kind of keep it close. They kind of did keep it close, but they also gave up way too many goals. That first game was 7-6. Yeah, Winnipeg won that game. You can't be getting up 6 goals. When you score 7, it should be a blowout, not a one-score game. So Colorado just overall looked better in this one. Power play looked great. Scoring just seemed easy to Colorado. So they move on. I really do think they're going to be a tough team to stop in the West. Then we head to Vancouver versus Nashville. Nashville kept their season alive from yesterday after a 2-1 win on the road as well. So they're going back to Nashville. For Vancouver, I think they're a great team. I don't think they're going to win the Cup. I don't think it's their time yet. But I could see them moving past Nashville right now. Nashville, just their inability to close games out has cost them 2 games. I mean, this series could be over if Nashville knew how to close out series. I mean, that brutal Game 4 ending, that was bad. And honestly, Game 1, they should have won Game 1, ended up losing that one as well. So Nashville's, they got to figure it out. UC Saros has looked great, though. I mean, he is not the problem in this series. And now we end it on Edmonton and LA. Edmonton leads the series 3-1. LA had an outstanding defensive game in Game 4, but Stuart Skinner stepped up and stole that game. Edmonton's up 3-1. I don't think LA's going to come back in this one. They might squeak out Game 5, but they're not going to win Game 6 for sure. I think Edmonton has a stranglehold on this series right now. I think they move on very easily. So tough news for LA, because I really like LA, but it's just 3rd year in a row against Edmonton, and I don't think they have enough to get past them. All right, let's head to college football. So we have an update on the video game. If you guys don't care about the update of the video game, skip to this time right here. Go on to college softball. But if you do care about the video game, this is what we got. Cover athlete update. And this is cover athletes, plural. We're going to see multiple covers out here. And I don't know if other people called it, but I definitely did. Checked out the TikTok. I said that they needed to make something with each power conference has their own cover, something to represent each school. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that, but we were going to see a player from each of the Power 5 conferences, and each of the players that will be represented on the cover are going to be playing a different position. So you're going to have a quarterback, wide receiver, running back, defensive player. I don't know who's going to be on the cover, but that is going to be what it is. I called it. I said, give us something to represent each conference, and they're doing it. So that's going to be really cool. It's going to be all current players, so no past players in this one. And supposedly, there's going to be one very big surprise cover athlete. I don't know what that means. I actually don't even know who's going to be on the cover of these. Like, I don't have any idea. The only one I could say is the Big 12. We're probably going to get a Colorado player based on how popular they are. Either Sanders or Hunter, I would say, would probably be on the front. But I don't know. But very interesting that we are actually going to see multiple covers that you could get in this one. So very cool to be able to say I called that one. Very happy on that. So for the game itself, the gameplay trailer will drop this month. Potentially May 16th will be that day. Features that we are aware of already right now. Officially, we got Dynasty Mode, Road to Glory, Ultimate Team, which is like Madden Online Mode, ESPN commentators, the CFP customization, transfer portal, and they keep emphasizing this will not be like Madden video games. That's what we know about this game. May 16th is the potential trailer, so I'm looking forward to around that date, looking at what we're going to get out of this. You guys, we're going to talk about it when it does drop, so just be aware of that. Very excited for this game. It's one of the best games I've ever played. Personally, I love college football, and to be able to now play it on the next-gen consoles is going to be so awesome, so I can't wait for that game. Let's move on to softball. Starting off with number 1, Texas. They stay put there. Number 2, Oklahoma. Tennessee at 3. Oklahoma State at 4. Duke 5. UCLA at 6. All the same rankings from last week. Stanford gets a +1 to 7. Texas A&M gets +3 to 8. Florida gets a +3 to 9. Washington stays put at 10. Arkansas gets +2 to 11. Georgia drops 3 to 12. LSU drops 6 to 13. FSU gets a +2 to 14. Missouri drops 1 to 15. Alabama gets a +1 to 16. Louisiana gets a +2 to 17. Virginia Tech gets a -3 to 18. Mississippi State drops 1 to 19. U of A stays put at 20. Oregon gets a +2 to 21. Clemson drops 1 to 22. Northwestern goes from unranked to 23. Kentucky drops 2 to 24. And Miami of Ohio goes from unranked to 25. Cal and Texas State both dropped out of the rankings. Other receiving votes for this week: Boston at 36, Texas State at 34, Cal at 33, South Carolina at 27, and Baylor at 19. Now let's head into the updates of the week. We'll start off with the midweek upsets. Number 19, Louisiana beat number 7, LSU 9-4. Number 16, Florida State beat number 12, Florida 12-3. And Stanford beat number 18, Mississippi State 3-2. And a Friday, Syracuse beat number 15, Virginia Tech 2-1. Number 12, Florida beat number 9, Georgia 9-1. South Carolina beat number 22, Kentucky 5-2. Number 13, Arkansas beat number 7, LSU 2-1. And Southern Miss beat number 24, Texas State 9-3. We had to Saturday where Louisville beat number 21, Clemson 6-3. Arkansas beat number 7, LSU 4-1. Washington beat number 8, Stanford 3-1. Number 20, Arizona beat number 6, UCLA 8-4. Arizona State finally is on the board, beating number 25, Cal 5-4. We had a Sunday when number 12, Florida beat number 9, Georgia 10-7. Syracuse beat number 15, Virginia Tech 6-2. South Carolina beat number 22, Kentucky 3-0. And number 17, Alabama beat number 3, Tennessee 1-0. Arizona State update of the week: no mid games this past week, but they were able to take one from Cal. So very good win there, a walk-off win for them. This week they have to face UCLA, number 6 in the nation. I expect them to get swept. I mean, no sugarcoating that. So that's going to be a tough series. Hopefully they maybe squeak out one, but they're going to get swept this week. It's going to be tough games for them. All right, let's head to college baseball now. We'll start off with the rankings, of course. Starting off with No movements for 1, 2, and 3. We got Texas A&M at 1, Arkansas at 2, and Tennessee at 3. Clemson gets a +1 to 4. East Carolina gets a +2 to 5. Oregon State gets a +3 to 6. Florida State gets a +3, to 7. Kentucky gets a -4 to 8. Irvine gets +3 to 9. Duke drops 4 to 10. Virginia gets +3 to 11. UNC gets +3 to 12. Wake Forest drops 5 to 13. Oklahoma State gets +5 to 14. South Carolina gets a +9 to 15. Mississippi State goes from unranked to 16. Vanderbilt drops 6 to 17. Louisiana drops 1 to 18. Georgia gets +1 to 19. NC State gets +1 to 20. U of A drops 5 to 21. Oklahoma drops 4 to 22. Alabama stays put at 23. Indiana State gets +1 to 24. And Utah goes from unranked to 25. 2 teams dropped out. That was Coastal Carolina and Oregon this week. Now let's head into the upsets of the week. We'll start off with the midweeks. We got Campbell winning big over number 6 Duke 18 to 4. Elon beating number 8 Wake Forest 3 to 0. Number 20 Georgia beat number 5 Clemson at 15 4 to 3. Creighton beat number 13 Coastal Carolina 7 to 3. Houston Christian beat number 17 Louisiana 9 to 10. BC beating number 14 Virginia 8 to 2. Friday we had number 10 Florida State beat number 6 Georgia 4 to 2. Troy beating Coastal Carolina 8 to 6. Number 24 South Carolina beat number 4 Kentucky and 10 6 to 5. South Illinois beat number 25 Indiana State 3 to 2. Ole Miss beating number 23 Alabama 9 to 8. Saturday we had Louisville beating Clemson again 7 to 6. Troy beating Coastal Carolina again 11 to 4. Mississippi State beat number 17 Louisiana 7 to 4. Florida State beat number 6 Duke 7 to 6. Washington beat number 16 Arizona 4 to 3. Florida beat number 2 Arkansas 9 to 5. Notre Dame beat number 8 Wake Forest 11 to 3. Sunday we had Notre Dame beating number 8 Wake Forest 9 to 8. Troy beating number 13 Coastal Carolina in 7 innings 15 to 3. Virginia Tech beat number 15 UNC 4 to 3. Mississippi State beat number 11 Vanderbilt 8 to 7. Texas beating number 18 Oklahoma State 8 to 6 and 12 to 10 in the doubleheader. Number 24 South Carolina beat number 4 Kentucky in 7 innings 10 to 0. And Oregon beat number 9 Oregon State 7 to 1. Arizona State update: they took 2 games out of 3 against USC. Offense was absolutely electric this weekend. Great job by the guys there. Pitching looked really good too. Last game, I think they gave up 11 in that one. Not a great performance, but overall, great weekend by Arizona State. This week they have San Diego, which they were able to mercy on Tuesday night, so they're able to get that win. And this upcoming weekend, for some reason I am blanking on what it is. I will put it right here on who they're playing. But hopefully they're able to win. I don't know, but hopefully the offense stays alive for them, because that's the biggest problem, big time. Games of the weekend to watch. Start off with the NHL. Saturday we have potential Game 7 starting. That is not likely. The last confirmed game is Game 6, Dallas versus Vegas, Friday. Time is not announced yet. For MLB, 3-game set of the Braves versus the Dodgers. For softball, number 4, Oklahoma State versus number 2, Oklahoma. And for baseball, you got number 20, North Carolina State versus number 7, Florida State. All right, guys, that will do it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. 108 episodes in the books. Make sure you guys go down the links below for Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Still don't know what's going on with TikTok. Might be banned, might not be. Who knows? We're still actually posting stuff on there, so go check it out. Got some fun content out on that. Always get updates from Instagram and or Twitter on episodes that will or will not drop. And check out the YouTube, because we got some YouTube exclusive stuff. If you guys are only following us for sports stuff, who cares? But we have a couple tier lists that are out on the YouTube channel that you guys might want to go check out. Kind of fun episodes, get you guys to think about what are your favorite chips or fast food restaurants, because those are the 2 topics we have talked about. Have an awesome weekend. Hopefully this is not too late for you guys. We'll see you guys later.